Will the Senate please come to order? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Ocasio, Senator Baker, Senator Chang,
Here.
Senator Dela Cruz, Senator English, Senator Favela, Senator Gabbard,
Here.
Senator Ihara,
Present.
Senator Inoue, Senator Kanuha, Senator Keith Agaran, Senator Keoho Kalole,
Hail.
Senator Kidani, Senator Kim, Senator Lee,
Here.
Senator Misalucha, Senator Moriwaki, Senator Nishihara, Senator Rhodes, Senator Riviere, Senator San Buenaventura, Senator Shimabukuro,
Here.
Senator Taniguchi, Senator Wakai. Mr. President,
Present.
all 25 members are present.
Thank you. The chair has read the journal of the preceding day and approves the same. Are there any introductions this morning? I believe we've had that one already. Madam Clerk.
Governor's message numbers 814 and 815 withdraw nominations to various boards, and Governor's message numbers 816 to 822 make corrections to nominations to the Board of Education and to the Hawaii Commission for National and Community Service.
File.
House Communication number 395 informs the Senate that the House has disagreed to the amendments proposed by the Senate to various House bills, and House Communication numbers 396 and 397 inform the Senate that various Senate bills passed third reading in the House unamended.
File.
House Communication numbers 398 to 441 return Senate bills that passed third reading in the House in an amended form for agree-disagree.
Defer one day.
On pages 9 through 11, Standing Committee Report numbers 1558 to 1568 for adoption.
Senator Kaeho Kalole.
I move for the adoption of Standing Committee Report numbers 1558 to 1568.
Senator Favela.
I second that motion.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Any objections? If not, the motion is carried.
On pages 11 and 12, Standing Committee Report numbers 1569 to 1581. And on pages 17 and 18, Standing Committee Report numbers 1615 to 1620 for one-day notice. On pages 12 through 17, Standing Committee Report numbers 1582 to 1614 for 48-hour notice.
So ordered.
On page 19, Deferred Matters, House Communication number 393 returns a Senate concurrent resolution that was adopted in the House in an amended form for agree-disagree.
Defer one day.
On page 19, Advise and Consent.
If there are no objections from the members, we will be taking advice and consent on consent.
Standing Committee Report number 1555 on Governor's Messages for adoption.
Is there any discussion? Not, do we have unanimous consent?
25 ayes.
Thank you. The nominees for said governor's messages have been confirmed.
Beginning on page 20, third reading.
If there are no objections from the members, we will be taking third reading on consent, and we will be taking House Bill 200 out of order and first on the third reading calendar. Madam Clerk.
Third reading of House Bill 200, Senate Draft 1, relating to the state budget.
Is there any discussion? Senator Dela Cruz.
In support.
Please proceed.
Mr. President, I'd like to begin by thanking the Senate subject matter committee chairs for their leadership and for assisting the Ways and Means Committee in addressing our state's extreme fiscal challenges that resulted from the pandemic. This has truly been a group effort. Your dedication and diligent efforts to identify opportunities for strategic additions, restorations, restructurings, reductions, and cuts across the 20 state departments were instrumental. Your recommendations to the Ways and Means Committee have made it possible for the Senate to pass an executive budget that creates a leaner, more efficient state government, addresses the needs of our most vulnerable residents, and stabilizes essential services and programs as we make our way out of this fiscal storm from 2020. The economic effects of the pandemic focused many conversations on our current spending practices and the prudent use of resources as we face growing expenditures and an abrupt decline in revenues. Decisions were made to reduce decades-old base budget programs, eliminate organizational structures that have failed to evolve to meet our state's priorities, and cut numerous positions that have increased year over year. With that in mind, I'd like to thank the subject matter chairs for their countless hours spent meeting with departments on restructuring, as well as scrutinizing and asking critical questions on hundreds of budget requests. Your good work is reflected in the Senate draft. The Senate approached the Senate draft with an intent to address the biennial budget with fiscal responsibility and restraint. The budget shores up our current state obligations while ensuring a solid financial future in the case the state is faced with another unforeseen economic upheaval. Due to the Council of Revenue's several tax enhancers and transferring money from the special funds to the general fund, the Senate puts forth a draft that is $278,042,127 higher than the executive budget for fiscal year 22 and $228,984,944 million higher for fiscal year 2023. We are grateful for the federal infusion of the $1.6 million, which enabled the Senate to meet the tremendous need for resources to address COVID-19 related emergencies, stabilizing small businesses and nonprofits, industries such as tourism, travel and hospitality, and to close the large funding gaps in education, healthcare, and housing. The Senate's approach to balancing the budget consisted of 6 well-defined strategies that were implemented in concert, strike a balance between meeting current and emergent needs of the state, while ensuring that we will not create any additional financial burdens for future generations. Our first strategy mentioned earlier was to work closely with the committee chairs on strategic restructuring, reductions, and cuts. Our second strategy folded in Council of Revenue's general fund forecast to help set a base for anticipated revenues over the biennium. Our third strategy was to allocate federal funds received from the American Rescue Plan Act and appropriate to operational areas that were severely impacted by the governor's budget reductions. Our fourth strategy was to develop revenue enhancers that would provide vehicles to generate additional dollars in ways that make sense and would not adversely impact the residents of Hawaii. Our fifth strategy consisted of sweeping over $100 million in excess special funds to the general fund. And last, our strategy was to cover costs for Senate priorities. Your committee had the daunting task of balancing the state budget with the inclusion of $1.6 billion allocated through ARPA. Numerous federal requirements, restrictions, and limitations were placed on how ARPA funds could be spent by the states. With limited guidance from BNF and the federal government, determining the most appropriate use of the money was very difficult. The maintenance of effort, the MOE requirement, presented the greatest challenge for drafting a balanced budget. The committee worked diligently to meet the proportional maintenance of effort funding requirement established under ARPA. Many hours were spent to ascertain accurate appropriations to the University of Hawaii, Department of Education, and all other state departments. The federal maintenance of effort requirements mandate that the state to provide proportional funding in fiscal years 22 and 23 to elementary and secondary education and higher education as compared to the overall state budget averaged over fiscal years 17, 18, and 19. According to BNF, this average proportional allocation is 6.69% and 23.35% for higher education and lower education, respectively. Higher education encompasses the University of Hawaii, while lower education comprises the Department of Education, minus libraries and early learning programs. The state faced economic hardships endangered by the COVID-19 pandemic. While there have been many cuts across all departments in the previous fiscal biennium, the Department of Education took disproportionate cuts. This year's base appropriations to the DOE started nearly 2% short of meeting the MOE, which is approximately $150 million. The executive budget failed to meet the federal MOE requirement in this time of economic instability. The state is in no position to jeopardize federal support by falling short of the required appropriations. We are proud to present a budget that meets the maintenance of effort requirement, thus ensuring the state's $1.6 billion ARPA allocation. The Senate draft includes the following priorities: supporting programs and services for agriculture, which included the pesticide disposal program, and provide ceiling increases for the water infrastructure loans and agricultural resource management. Funding to support our state museums, Iolani Palace and Bishop Museum, and allocating ARPA funds to HTA to help sustain our visitor industry and economy. Supporting Hawaii's learners and education systems by adding funding to alternative learning, teacher rental subsidies, statewide trauma-informed care services, and K-12 programming for libraries. For higher education, funding was added to UH Manoa, the UH Cancer Center, Early College, JABSOM, UH Manoa and Hilo Athletics, and the Hawaii Promise Program. Funds were restored for special education, libraries, instructional support, school community services, charter schools, and the DOE weighted student formula. For higher education, funds were restored for UH Hilo, UH West Oahu, UH system-wide support, and the UH community colleges. Funding to protect natural resources by restoring funds for the Water and Land Development Division and the Native Resources and Fire Protection Program, and adding funds for the Conservation and Resources Enforcement Division to help combat rapid ohia death. Supporting the health and well-being of Hawaii's families by providing funding for critical human services programs such as the General Assistance Program, Homeless Services, Preschool Open Doors, Medicaid payments, and the State Rent Supplement Program, and in community youth programs. Provide funding for critical programs such as Crime Victim Compensation Program, Career Criminal and Victim Witness Program, and the Sex Abuse Treatment Center. Mr. President, I'd also like to add written remarks in support of HB 200. And in conclusion, I'd like to thank the members for their hard work, and I'd like to thank and acknowledge everyone's efforts, time, and dedication, as well as the efforts and hard work of the Vice Chair and his team for putting together the CIP budget. Lastly, I'd like to thank the Ways and Means budget staff for their hard work and extended hours in helping shape the Senate draft. Committee Clerk Dane Wicker, Budget Chief Stacy Ferreira, Budget Analyst Janos, Colin, Brent, Nikki, Wayne, and Chris Lee, and Legislative Assistant David Cho. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Do we have further discussion? Senator San Buenaventura.
I stand in strong support. I really want to mahalo our Ways and Means Chair and Vice Chair and his staff. This is a humanitarian budget. In a time of economic crisis caused by the pandemic, he still found enough money to keep the homeless programs going. Adding $750,000 to rental subsidy to prevent people from being homeless, also helping working families with $6.9 million in preschool open doors, $2.68 million in kupuna care, and various other budget cuts that were initially proposed that were restored. Thank you so much.
Mr. President.
Senator Kim.
Thank you. I too rise in support.
Please proceed.
Especially want to thank the budget chair, vice chair, and the budget staff. I think this has been one of the more inclusive times that I can remember on the budget, having met with the budget chair on subject matter inclusion and deletions from the budget, and also even with the CIP. So I really want to thank them for being transparent and to working with the chairs on these measures. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Further discussion, Senator Moriwaki?
Mr. President, I too want to lend my strong support to the chair and vice chair. This has been a hard session with the lack of funds, and he has been very inclusive. All the chairs have been working really hard to see where we can reorganize, restructure, as well as find funds that may be used in other places that are more needy. The staff worked tirelessly, and I can attest to their working long hours, so I do commend the chair and vice chair and the committee. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Further discussion. Senator Ocasio,
Mr. President, I rise in support of this measure.
please proceed.
I just really wanted to commend and mahalo everyone for putting in the effort. This is a complicated process, understood, and that we are still able to put a lot of important pieces into this that will really help and support our community. But what I'm really rising in also is to commend this body for previously passing Senate Bill 56 relating to revenue generation. And it's unfortunate that it didn't continue with our colleagues in the House. But you know, therefore, we wouldn't perhaps be forced to put so many cuts into this budget as it is. But I really would like to just commend this body for having the courage to, you know, this revenue generating bill would have increased the personal income tax for high earners, increase the tax on capital gains, increase the corporate income tax and establishing a single corporate income tax rate. It would have also suspended the application of certain general excise use tax exemptions and increased conveyance taxes for the sale of properties valued over $1 million, which right now currently with our real estate boom is not necessarily majority local purchasers. So just wanted again to mahalo you for your courage in that, and then also thank everyone for their efforts in doing what they can regardless of that revenue generation. Mahalo.
Thank you. Further discussion, Senator Kidani.
Thank you, Mr. President. I too would like to congratulate the Senate Chair of Ways and Means, as well as his Vice Chair, and the magnificent staff for what they did. You know, we started this year with doom and gloom, not knowing where we were going to be. And even with the federal funds that came down, it was the maintenance of effort that they had to follow was very stringent. And I just admire the hard work and the demands that were placed on the WAM chair, Senator De La Cruz, and his vice chair, as well as their staff, for being diligent and working the long hours that they did. And I truly, truly support the efforts that they gave me to make my education budget as complete as we could. So mahalo.
Thank you. Further discussion, Senator Favela.
Thank you, Senate President. I also want to stand in strong support.
Please proceed.
I thank our chair and our vice chair and their staff. We know how hard they work. You know, just like the previous senator from the Big Island saying, took a bold move and explaining. Sometimes I have a lot of questions, and you know, Senator De La Cruz is always happy to accommodate, so I can explain to my community that we're not trying to put everybody in the welfare house. That was really actually trying to help everybody. But unfortunately, it did die. It didn't go through at the House, and you know, it's so fortunate that you know, people never understand the complex of the bill. But I thank the chair and the vice chair for this budget and really thinking about the people of Hawaii going forward. And again, thank you for trying to do something for the people, the little guys out there. Thank you. God bless.
Thank you. Further discussion. I'm specifically looking at the television screen to make sure I don't miss anybody who is on the Zoom. I see no hands up. Anybody else in the chamber? Discussion? If not, I would say briefly, you know, it's not just this budget. To Chair De La Cruz and Vice Chair Keith Agaran, it's been a year and an abrupt recess, and then coming back, and we've never depended so much on federal money as the influence it has on how the state budget is shaped like we have in this last 12 months. And we've asked the staff who's been here for the 12-month period to come into the building and work and put their own personal health and safety at risk to get the job done for the people of the state of Hawaii. We came back after the abrupt recess and then had a planned recess, and we were back here again. And so the work has been continuous by the Ways and Means Committee and each of you who have been chairing committees, and the due diligence that you have been doing throughout the pandemic in trying to meet the needs of the subject matter area you serve. It truly frustrates me to be referred to as a part-time legislator when I know that each and every one of you have worked so hard over the last 12 months. And that's every year in the interim to do the research that you need to do so that you can do the best job for your constituents and the purview that you represent. I have had advocates meet with me on a regular basis, passionately tell me why their mission cannot be cut because their service is so critical. And I admire the passion and commitment of each and every one of them. And then I try to explain the revenue situation we have and the tough choices that need to be made. And I'm sure the Ways and Means Chairman heard the same passion from each subject matter chair about why theirs could not be cut and why their mission was so important. So I appreciate the passion you brought, and then I appreciate the way in which the Ways and Means Chair and Vice Chair went about putting together a total package to try and address everything. So my thanks to you, again to the Ways and Means staff for the unprecedented conditions that you've had to deal with while performing an incredibly difficult task. And I would also like to say to all of the support agencies, you know, how much I appreciate the work that they have done. As president, after each crossing vote and the final vote, I visit each office to tell all of the support staff how much I appreciate their efforts to get us to where we are. And with the social distancing and best practices that have been in place, I've not been able to visit them this session, and this is an opportunity to thank them as well. Do we have unanimous consent?
25 ayes.
Thank you. House Bill 200 SD1 passes third reading.
We're at the top of the third reading calendar, which begins on page 20, and we'll be taking these measures page by page. Standing Committee Report number 1532, third reading of House Bill 765, Senate Draft 1, relating to mobile emergency management services. Standing Committee Report number 1533, third reading of House Bill 776, Senate Draft 2, relating to the issuance of special purpose revenue bonds to assist Pueo Development, LLC. Standing Committee Report number 1534, third reading of House Bill 835, Senate Draft 1, relating to the National Guard Youth Challenge Academy. Standing Committee Report number 1535, third reading of House Bill 941, Senate Draft 2, relating to the use of electronic filing by the Public Utilities Commission. And Standing Committee Report number 1536, third reading of House Bill 943, Senate Draft 2, relating to non-depository trusts.
Do we have any discussion for the bills on page 20? I have reservations on House Bill 776, Senate Draft 2 for Senator Ocasio, and reservations on House Bill 943, Senate Draft 2 for Senator Ocasio. Are there any other reservations? Do I have any no votes on this page? If not, do we have unanimous consent?
25 ayes.
Thank you. Said House bills on page 20 pass third reading.
On page 21, Standing Committee Report number 1537, third reading of House Bill 1132, Senate Draft 2, relating to housing. Standing Committee Report Number 1538, third reading of House Bill 79, Senate Draft 2, relating to housing. Standing Committee Report Number 1539, third reading of House Bill 286, Senate Draft 2, relating to real estate investment trusts. Standing Committee Report Number 1540, third reading of House Bill 606, Senate Draft 2, authorizing the issuance of general obligation bonds for affordable housing. And Standing Committee Report Number 1541, third reading of House Bill 683, Senate Draft 1, relating to sustainable aviation fuel.
Thank you. Do we have any discussion on page 21? If not, do we have unanimous consent?
25 ayes.
Thank you. Said House bills on page 21 pass third reading.
On page 22, Standing Committee Report Number 1542, third reading of House Bill 1029, Senate Draft 1, relating to living park planning councils. Standing Committee Report Number 1543, third reading of House Bill 391, Senate Draft 2, relating to the Residential Landlord-Tenant Code. Third reading of House Bill 53, Senate Draft 1, relating to state bonds. Third reading of House Bill 54, Senate Draft 1, relating to the state budget. And Standing Committee Report Number 1554, third reading of House Bill 149, Senate Draft 1, relating to gift certificates.
Is there any discussion? If not, I have a no vote on House Bill 1029, Senate Draft 1 from Senator Ocasio. Do I have a no vote for Senator Favela on House Bill 1029, Senate Draft 1? Do we have any reservations on that bill? Do we have any reservations on any of the other bills on page 21 or page 22? Senator Favela.
Reservations on House Bill number 391, HD3, ST2.
So noted. Any other no votes? If not, do we have unanimous consent?
On House Bill 1029, Senate Draft 1, 23 ayes, 2 noes. On all other bills on page 22, 25 ayes.
On House Bill 391, Senator Favela, that was a no vote? Reservations, okay. Thank you, Madam Clerk. All House bills on page 22 pass third reading.
Referrals and re-referrals.
Referrals and re-referrals are made in accordance with the supplemental order of the day, which may be distributed to your offices later today.
No further business, Mr. President.
Are there any announcements today? Senator Taniguchi.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd just like to remind the members that next week, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday will be art at the Capitol, and that we will be doing posting the interviews online this year because we can't have in-house visiting. And so on Wednesday, we'll have the second floor members' interviews posted. On Thursday, it will be third floor, and Friday will be the fourth floor. So Wednesday is a recess, so I won't be able to harass you about that day, but I'll try to remember to do it on Tuesday when we vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further announcements? If not, the chair has the deadline for filing standing committee reports on House bills for third reading is 10 p.m. tonight. Senator Keoho Kalole.
I yield to Senator Gabbard.
I'm sorry, Senator Gabbard. I see your hand clearly now. And I think I had Jarrett's name correct, and you've messed me up after this, I'm sure.
Thank you, Mr.
Senator
President.
Gabbard.
Thank you, Mr. President. Point of personal privilege.
Please proceed.
I just wanted to recognize this auspicious occasion today, the 37th birthday of our hardworking caucus leader, Senator Drew Kanoa from Hawai'i Islands. Please give him a hand.
Thank you. Senator Keoho Kalole.
I move that the Senate stand in recess, leaving the journal open until 10 p.m. for the receipt of standing committee reports on House bills to be placed on the calendar for third reading. And I further move that the Senate reconvene on Tuesday, April 13th at 10 a.m.
Senator Favela.
I second the motion.
It's been moved and seconded. If there are no objections from the members, the Senate will stand in recess, leaving the journal open until 10 p.m. and reconvene on Tuesday at 10 a.m.